Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. Before we get started with today's lesson, I would just like to say that you guys are doing a really good job. I'm very proud of my anatomy classes. You guys are doing your work and you're keeping up with your work and you're getting good grades and you're really rocking virtual learning right now. So I'm really proud of you guys. Keep up the good work. And supposedly, we're going to be going back into the school in the hybrid model on November 16th. So I'm kind of excited about that too. I can't wait to meet you guys and see you face to face and have some good times interacting in person. Okay, so today, here we are in the week of October 12th through the 16th. And obviously you clicked in this folder already to get to today's assignment right here, 10-12 assignment. And you obviously started watching the instructional video already, which is good. I'm just showing you this because sometimes students message me and they don't know where to find the student note packet that you should be filling in while you're watching the instructional video. And so here it is right here. And if you click on that, it takes you to the student version. And this is where you're going to type in all of these red boxes here as we go along and learn the day's lesson. Okay, so you should have the student note packet open right now. And as we go through our lesson today, you should be filling that in. And so we're kind of moving on to a new topic today, and that is anatomical positions, directions, regions, planes, cavities, and quadrants. Yes, this is quite a bit of information in this little topic area, but necessary. Because in anatomy, we learn special terminology, and therefore there's no confusion about what part of the body we're talking about. And so that's really important if you have a couple of surgeons operating on you or doctors working on you and they're trying to communicate with each other where to make the incision or where the problems are. You want to be sure that they're both thinking about the same exact part of the body. And so the very first thing we start with is the anatomical position. And so that means when we're referring to the human body, we have to have a reference point. Are we referring to the body as it's standing up, as it's sitting down, as it's bending over? And so we have this universal anatomical position. And you can see this subject right here is standing in perfect anatomical position. She's standing erect with her palms and feet facing forward. So that's a big thing. The palms facing forward right here is the correct anatomical position. And this is the standard reference point that we refer back to when we talk about different body parts and movements and positions. So let's start with the different positions and the different directions in the body. And so terms of position and direction describe the position of one body part relative or in relation to another body part. Let's look at that a little bit more specifically. So when we say superior, that refers to a structure being closer to the head or a higher point compared to another structure. For example, if we look at our subject over here, I would say that her shoulder is superior to her knee. And so that way you know that that particular structure in the human body is higher And indeed, the shoulder is higher than the knee. Another term that we use in reference to direction is called inferior. And that's kind of the reverse of superior. It refers to the structure being closer to the feet or lower in the body compared to another structure. So we would say the knee is inferior to the shoulder. The knee is closer to the bottom, the feet, or lower. That's what inferior means. By the way, I know this is a lot of information to write down. This is a very lengthy, tedious little unit of study that we're going to be doing. So you can do a couple of things. You can pause the lecture in case you need time to write everything down. But I also included a copy of this PowerPoint in this week's folder. And so that way you can look through the information and copy it down at your own pace also. Anterior refers to the structure being more in front than another structure in the body. For example, you could say that the knee is anterior, or I should say the kneecap, the patella, is actually anterior to the shoulder blade. And so the patella or the kneecap is more in front compared to the shoulder blade. And then, of course, posterior means the opposite, refers to the structure being more in the back compared to another structure. So we would say the shoulder blade is posterior to the kneecap or patella. Medial refers to the structure being closer to the midline or the median plane of the body. So that's pretty simple and self-explanatory, the middle. It's more medial compared to another structure. So we could say the belly button is medial to the hip. Okay, the belly button is closer to the midline of the body than the hip. And of course, we have the opposite, and that word is lateral, meaning the structure is farther away from the midline compared to another structure. And so we could say the hip is lateral compared to the belly button. The hip is farther away from the midline of the body compared to the belly button. Distal, when we describe structures as being distal, we're referring to the extremities only. So that's your arms and your legs. And so distal refers to a structure being further away from the root of the limb than another structure. And so if you don't know where the root of a limb is, it's where the limb attaches to the torso or the main part of the body. So this is the root right here. This is where the arm attaches to the torso. And of course, there's one on the other side here. This would be the root right here of where the leg attaches to the torso. And of course, there's another one right here. So we would say the ankles are distal to the kneecap. The ankles are further away from the root of the limb right here as compared to the kneecap. Proximal, again, is the opposite of distal, and it means the structure is closer to the root compared to another structure. And so again, we could say the kneecap is proximal compared to the ankles. The kneecap is closer to the root of the limb as compared to the ankle. Superficial refers to a structure being closer to the surface of the body. And so you might have heard this term before when talking about injuries, and somebody might say, oh, it's just a superficial cut. That means the cut or the injury is very close to the surface of the body. And the opposite of that would be deep, meaning closer to the core of the body. And so if we had to make a deep incision to get to the heart, you'd have to cut through a lot of tissue down into the body to get to the heart. Don't forget, if you need time to write stuff down, you can pause the video, or you can refer to this PowerPoint slideshow in your folder and go through it at your own pace. Dorsal refers to the structures toward the back. And so a little trick to maybe help you remember where dorsal is, think of a dorsal fin of a dolphin. Everybody knows the structure of a dolphin. And so you know that his dorsal fin is on his back. And so again, when we refer to dorsal with the human body, we're referring to the back. Ventral is towards the front. So when we refer to the ventral portion of the body, we're talking about the front. And so here's a little trick. You vent out of your mouth, out of your nose. When you're yelling at somebody, you're venting. You're venting out of the front of your body. Prone means lying face down. So when we say the body's in a prone position, this is what the body looks like right here. Here's a little trick to help you remember, like a pro baseball player. When he slides into home base, he's usually sliding in face down. So maybe that little trick right there will help you remember what prone means. Supine is when the body is lying face up. Another little trick, take it or leave it. If you're laying on your spine, you can have soup poured in your mouth. All kind of S related to supine. Unilateral means pertaining to one side of the body. And again, if you break down this word, uni means one, lateral means side or pertaining to the outer area. And bilateral means we're talking about both sides. Again, if you break down this word, bi means two, lateral is kind of further away toward the side. Okay, and so that was enough notes for today. I'm going to stop with lecturing today. We'll pick up with our notes again tomorrow. The only thing left you have to do for today is complete your short Schoology assignment, which you will find in this week's folder. Have a great day.